By the way, they're supposed to be here.
Okay. You're live.
Well, thank you very much, folks, and welcome everybody to our meeting tonight. Our councillors, staff, and of course those that are out there taking it all in on this beautiful day. First of all, a call to order the meeting of June 15th, 2021. First and foremost, the adoption of agendas and minutes, adoption of the meeting agenda for June 15th, 2021.
So
moved by Councillor Hillier, seconded by Councillor Tilley. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Adoption of the meeting minutes of May 18th, 2021. Moved by Councillor Bent, seconded by Councillor Uden. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Business arising from previous minutes? There being none. Visitors, presentations, and petitions. Now tonight I got one proclamation to read, and I've got four more, I guess, that either we missed because of our timing of our meetings that I'm going to acknowledge here that I signed previous. The first one that I'm going to read is National Indigenous Peoples Day. Just gonna call it up here. National Indigenous Peoples Day Proclamation. Whereas the Constitution of Canada recognizes the existing rights of the Indigenous peoples of Canada. Whereas in the Constitution of Canada, Indigenous peoples of Canada include the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people of Canada. Whereas Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has declared June 21st as National Indigenous Peoples Day in honor, recognition, and celebration of the valuable contributions made by the Indigenous peoples of Canada to Canadian society, and whereas many Indigenous peoples celebrate the summer solstice, which has important symbolism to their cultures, therefore I, Mayor Terry French of the town of Conception Bay South, proclaim June 21st, 2021 as National Indigenous Peoples Day and urge my fellow citizens to recognize the contributions of Indigenous peoples in our community. That's the proclamation for National Indigenous Peoples Day. But I also have a number of other things that happened this month. June, proclamations, I should say, that I signed. First of all, June being Recreation Month. I remember a number of years ago signing off from the province at Topsail Field when it was brand new. And, some of us here got certainly familiar, been down there chasing our kids and so on around a beautiful facility. Hopefully we'll see the Canada Games there in the coming year, next year, 2025, a couple of years from now. And so what a great facility, and certainly it's important for all of us to get out and move around. And one of the things I have in the go around tonight that I wanted to mention is the success of our trail system again. I'm always amazed at the people who are using it, the number of people who are using it, and they're just beautiful. Chamberlain's Park is getting used, Manuel's River is getting used, and of course our coastline trail and the trail throughout our community. So Recreation Month it is. Make sure everybody get out there and get active, regardless of your age or what condition you're in. There's always small walks, big walks, or anywhere in between. The next one is Pride Month. Unfortunately, last year we had a little bit more of a ceremony because I guess COVID was a little bit restricted this year, but I actually went down and raised the flag myself last year, but it's this year we've raised the Pride flag again. But just, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. Just yesterday, I believe, or it may have been today, I was driving from one part of town to the other part of town, and I heard somebody on a call-in show, and I was flabbergasted of the prejudice that still exists based on people's sexual orientation. I was blown away. And the host handled it very, very well, and I take my hat off to him. So it's sad that still exists, but I believe that many of the people in today's society are moving past this. So please let those prejudices go away and be good to everybody. And, I certainly commend friends of mine who are out celebrating Pride Month, but all of us should celebrate Pride Month as best we can. The next one is Early Childhood Educators Week. Unfortunately, we missed that. Another group of individuals who are probably, the foundations, I guess, before our kids get into the school system and We have a school teacher, certainly on Councillor Hillier's former school vice principal. So he was involved in the education system at that level. But obviously the early days of our kids now, and anyone, if you read anything at all, you know how important that is to our children's development. So Early Childhood Educators Week, unfortunately we miss it, but certainly our hats off as a council to you guys as well. And that clues up that session of the agenda. Back to the regular agenda. Okay, now we have new business. Starting off new business, Deputy Mayor Richard Murphy.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Just a couple of items on a somber note, to be quite honest. Of course, over the past week, our province and our community had to deal with the devastating news that a real good friend of ours, Mr. George Murphy, passed away. George was a well-known person throughout the island, mostly for his fuel price predictions every Wednesday, and of course, he was a former MHA, and he was also a resident of Seal Cove, which is our community. I got to know George over the past few years, especially since being involved with municipal politics myself. And I remember during the campaign knocking on his door in Seal Cove, and he wasn't very particular. He came out on the patio, a real nice sunny Saturday morning in September, in his house coat, and we had a wonderful chat. And I tell you what a nicer person you could meet, a gentleman who was truly community minded and who will be missed throughout the province, as we saw over the past week or so, especially with the funeral service. So I'd like to pass on my sincere condolences and that of council to his wife Joy and his family. He will sorely be missed. As well, Your Worship, on a similar note, I'd like to also express condolences to the Muslim community in our town. As you are, all of us are aware of the tragic happenings in London, Ontario, a week or so ago, when basically a whole family was wiped out through a senseless act of terrorism. And of course, it brings home to us, of course, that only a couple of months ago, we welcomed the Muslim community to Conception Bay South when they established their new mosque down in Manuel. So I'd like to also extend condolences to the Muslim community and let them know that Conception Bay South is a good place to live, and the people of Conception Bay South are standing with them in their grief. So that's about it for me this evening, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Murphy. Next, we have Councillor Uden.
Yeah, I got a few things this evening. First, I'd certainly like to echo Deputy Mayor Murphy's condolences to the Murphy family and Joy and her children and so forth. I still got a voicemail from George, and I haven't deleted it yet. And he called me the Thursday before his passing to pass on some news. And I would have liked to return that call and had that conversation, but he's certainly going to be missed. I had the opportunity to work on a couple of his. One was some security issues up in Seal Cove area, and another one was a flooding issue. And just the type of person he was is that he had no reason to be involved with this issue, and he connected that person with me and stayed involved. And he had a heart as big as they come, and he'll certainly be missed. The second, I guess, point I'd like to make tonight is just some of the recent happenings with regards to our schools and Pride Month and flags and so forth. And I think as community leaders, we certainly have to provide a blanket of support around those who need it most, and certainly reflect the fact that it doesn't matter who you choose to love. You should feel safe in any community, and Conception Bay South included. Third thing would be I have myself and Councillor Butler have been approached with regard to some parents with disability signage in the community, and I know it's an issue that we've discussed well over the years, but I've actually found some similar policies from an Ontario town that just went through this, and I forward that on to Public Works, and hopefully we can find a resolution to figure out where we could, as a town, provide signage in areas where a kid might have a hearing problem or what have you, and under what conditions we would do that. Lastly, I'll keep it quick. I've decided not to offer myself as a candidate in the next municipal election. And I certainly want to thank all of staff over the years, for putting up with me, but a lot of times people don't see the work that these people do behind the scenes. We as councillors get out and get the photo taken, but they certainly, and I'll use an example of the Trailway and people like Jennifer Lake, who probably wouldn't be there if it wasn't for those efforts and so forth. So, and I can go on, I'm incredibly proud of the fire department. I'm incredibly proud that most of our policies in town were non-existent when I first ran, and now they're published online, transparent, and so forth. So, and our fiscal house has probably never been better. Brian, you haven't been around long enough for me to figure out something about you, but thank you certainly for putting up with us over the last 3.5 years. It has been incredibly challenging, COVID and all and so forth, but I don't know if I'll miss it, but I'll certainly value the friendships that I've gotten over the years. So I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Councillor Uden, and I can assure you, you've made a great contribution for the last 16 years of your life, and your family has as well, because it takes a full unit to be able to attend all those meetings. So thanks for making our town a better place. Thank you very much. Next we have Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just to really what you just said, Kirk, it's been a pleasure. We've had the opportunity to serve on three terms of council, and it's sad to see you go. But there comes a time when you just got to move on, and I'm sure that you thought long and hard about that. And I wish you the best. And of course, don't be a stranger. Just wanted to give a shout out to I guess a couple of people from Concession Bay South. First one is Arnold Kelly. While Arnold doesn't live in the town anymore, he grew up in the Concession Bay South. And so, of course, Arnold was just elected to the president of the Hockey Newfoundland and Labrador. So congratulations to Arnold on that accolade. He's going to be the top guy for Hockey Newfoundland and Labrador. So I'm sure he served on the executive past couple of years, but now he's the top person. So congratulations to Arnold. And as well, I'd like to give a big shout out to the Cbs Lions Club. This year, I believe they're celebrating their 50th year. And I'd like a special mention to Lion Heber Best. Heber Best has been there since day one, 50-year charter member. So congratulations, Heber. I'm sure that you still got another few years left. And I'm sure the Lions Club greatly appreciate all you do. And council and all the residents appreciate certainly what you do as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Councillor Bent.
I'll give my time back to Councillor Hillier if you want. Let me follow Councillor Hillier. It's a seniority issue, Your Worship.
Sorry about that, Councillor Hillier. It must be your positioning on the screen. Boy, sorry about that. Skipped right over you. You want to take it, Councillor Hillier?
Yes, Your Worship. That's fine. I know you got your hands full trying to coordinate all this crowd coming and going like herding cats sometimes. Yeah, Your Worship. Just one item. As we know, back in the 1880s, the train went through Conception Bay South, and as they went through Seal Cove, they had put a trestle across Seal Cove Pond. And since that time, fishermen have been coming and going beneath that trestle. So that trestle is well over 100 years old, and fishermen have been using it coming in and out of there for that 100 years for sure. I know, and after 100 years, there's some real concerns there about the condition of the trestle, of rocks coming into the channel and boats not being able to get in and out. And so it's a danger. I know our staff have worked diligently trying to put together grant money to try and alleviate the concerns there. We've worked at it from a tourism perspective in terms of this is part of our trailway, but it's also a safety perspective in terms of boats coming and going through the channel. I know all council is aware of it, but I just want to mention tonight, it's probably time for a reset and a reconsideration of that, and make sure that we keep that in the back of our minds, that there is an issue there at Seal Cove Pond with boats coming and going. Thank you, Your Worship.
Agree with you wholeheartedly, Councillor Hillier. Now, Councillor Bent.
See, there was a good reason that I let Councillor Hillier go first. That was very thoughtful. First off, Your Worship, I want to thank the Deputy Mayor for acknowledging our support as a town for our Muslim community in the wake of that terrible tragedy. Secondly, and I know some of this is repetitive, but I can't go forward without saying something about George Murphy. You know, I met George more than 30 years ago. He was driving taxi, and as soon as I get in with him, you know, he's going to talk to you, and he would talk to everybody. It's one of the great things about him is that he loved people, and he'd talk to you and tell you stories, and it was great. But one of the first things he told me was he was getting involved with a number of other taxi drivers out on Halloween night, helping to look out for the kids and so forth for their safety on this pumpkin patrol style event that they had planned. And he was an initiator on that, and a great initiative. And then, of course, we all know him from the gas pricing and MHA, but you know, a great fellow, called a gentle giant. And it was a wonderful ceremony at Carnell's on the weekend. Watched it online. I think for anybody that wants to have a look and see that ceremony, it was very well done, and it was a great tribute to George Murphy. It's a great loss. I just want to thank Kirk Uden for his service to our town over the past 16 years. I've only been on council with him for a fraction of that time, but it's anyone that is willing to put up that kind of time, and as you acknowledge, Your Worship, his family as well put up the time as well. It's a great thing, a great service to the community, and a community should be very thankful for the work that and the thoughtfulness behind the work that Kirk Uden has put into his job here, and the hard work that he has done. And I want to thank him personally, and sorry that he's not running again. I think he would be an excellent addition to the next council as well. As Councillor Tilley noted, the Lions Club, Lion Warwick Clooney noted today that they celebrate their 50th anniversary last night. And by doing so, of course, Heber Best, who was right there from the beginning, celebrated his 50th anniversary as a Lion. And as a former Lion, I appreciate the great work that the Lions Club does, and they've done so much for our town, and you'll see their emblem from one end to the other. But I know they've named their meeting room after Heber down there as a tribute to him, and it's a great thing to be able to serve your community, but to do it for 50 years and to do it as a Lion is a wonderful thing. So congratulations to Heber Best, and congratulations to all the Lions, both present and former, who have helped CBS grow into the great community that it is. They've certainly got their finger on just about everything that's good around here. And just finally, Your Worship, I want to say that I was out to an event this weekend to support the Little Pantries of Conception Bay South. They had an event that ran from Topsail Elementary down to the west end of town, and they collected, I believe they stopped at Parsons Field. They collected pantry items, food items, hygiene items to fill up the little pantries with from that they've established throughout the town. It was a great event. Hats off to the organizers, hats off to the supporters of the event, and Parsons and Sons were there with the bus. They're a great local partner and a great business here in CBS, Parsons and Sons. And to Carla Crotty, the organizer of Little Pantries, originally thank her for all the work that they've done. And I know they had a great day, and it was a great sunny day on Sunday. A wonderful event, and if you see the Little Pantries around and you want to be able to help out, you can put the food in there anytime you want. So hats off to them. So thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Bent. Councillor Butler.
By the time it gets to me, most everything has been said. But I do have a few notes that I wanted to pass along. But before that, congrats to Heber Best. Got to know Heber through my husband. when Kevin went to school there. So I've met Hero many times and been in his company. Wonderful man, and congratulations, 50 years and having the meeting room named after him. I'd like to extend my condolences also to George Murphy's family. He was a well-liked man, so kind, with a big heart. Kirk, I can't say enough. When I started this term, your mentoring, your guidance, your experience, your wealth of information is just unbelievable. I mean, you know more about the town now than I'm sure anybody does about how it all works. So I'm going to miss you. And I'm sure you're looking forward to spending time with your family and doing some things maybe that you might have not gotten to do over the last 16 years. Let me see. I attended an outdoor classroom session last Tuesday on the Watersheds Heroes Climate Action Project. And I just wanted to mention the importance of that, of educating and collaborating, building a network of partners, come together to lend support and guidance, and enhance all our capabilities together with the ultimate goal of translating these partnerships and insights into action and a more sustainable future. It was amazing to see the key organizations and stakeholders from our region coming together to launch this fantastic project in our community. And I'd like to thank the Flavarium for choosing Conception Bay South as the pilot project for this initiative and for all the organization and legwork. I'd also like to express gratitude to all the presenters and the incredible students of Villanova Junior High for making this a success. And I think I'll leave the other few items for during my go around for the economic committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. And I feel your pain, Councillor Butler, because the number of things that I have listed here, I think everybody has hit on just about every one of them. The first thing I want to touch on, I'll be very brief. I'm trying not to be repetitive, but the first one I want to mention is the speed on our roads. I always bring this up. There's not a week goes by that I don't have multiple calls on this. Just today, again, I was talking to an old friend of mine whose people have crashed in through his yard and everything else. Please, I beg people to slow down on the by roads, especially. Our town developed as a network of very small community roads. Now we have multiple homes living on these streets and increased traffic. With the nice weather, we got all kinds of kids out. We're just days away. I think next week the schools will be out, which you'll see the kids out threefold or fivefold to what they are now. So I beg people to please slow down on our by roads. I still believe it's probably the biggest, it's an epidemic here in the town of Conception Bay South. So please slow down. And all we have to do is take our time on the by roads, especially. Route 60 is bad as well, but especially on the by roads. So please, I ask people to please slow down. Again, it's that time of the year where there's lots of garbage around. Everybody's property, something's blown in through the winter or plowed up through the winter. Please pick up your garbage, especially on the trails. I mentioned the trail system earlier. Again, great to see everybody using it. And your doggy do. Please clean it up and let everybody enjoy the trails to the same level. So, and I must say, in fairness, on the trailway, majority of the time they are very clean and people don't litter. But there are still a few that decide to throw their stuff out. So please stop doing that. I could go on about George Murphy again for quite some time. Everybody speaks to the man, I guess. We all got a story about George Murphy. I served in the House of Assembly with him for 4 years. So we had lots of tiffs and tats back and forth. And you can only imagine over 4 years of debate. And George was a great legislator. And he took it personal and took it to heart like myself. So actually, he knew my father better than he probably knew me back in the early days of the gas group that they had put together. So to George's family, a resident, I always joked with him, I'm sure he never voted for me, but I still liked him anyway. So that was a common thing. And his family, I certainly send out the best to them as well. And he's a big loss for our community, big loss for our province, but certainly a bigger loss for his family. So all the best to George's family. The Lions Club, I have to mention it. Having grown up, I guess, when your parents were involved in the Lions Club, you certainly saw a lot of the Lions Club. And Heber Bests, I guess the Lions Club started by a bunch of teachers. The original Lions Club in Conception Bay South was coming together of a group of teachers, and Heber Best happened to be one of those teachers. And like many houses on this shore, if you ever had a meeting in your house, there's a good chance Heber Best was at it because he was involved with so much over the years. So again, a true recognition of a true gentleman, a teacher who gave me all kinds of crap when I was stepping out of line, rightly so. Not sure he taught me too much outside of geography, but God love him for putting up with me in school. But certainly his contribution to our town, as well as all the Lions, has been second to none. And like I always say about the Lions Club, is a job to find a structure in our town that they haven't got the fingerprints of the Lions Club on. So again, great recognition on the weekend, and certainly thanks very much to Mr. Best for his commitments over the years. And on that note, that concludes up
You
what I
forgot
got to say.
Junior.
Excuse me, you forgot Junior.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's wrong,
geez,
sir?
why? I don't know what's wrong. It must be the sun.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'll
I
forgive
thought-
you.
all
I
right, Junior.
thought I was going to
Sorry,
have to
buddy.
intervene, Your Worship. That's all
The
I can
screen
say.
here tonight is off or something. I don't know what it is. So maybe it's the fellow looking at it is off.
No,
more
yeah.
than lately.
No worries.
Sorry, Councillor Bursey.
No worries, man. No worries. I only got a couple of items. I just why Rex brought it up about the bridge area in Seal Cove. I come up on a close call a couple of years ago, actually, that we had to use the throttle to escape from a FMI winds, and we just barely made it underneath the throttle. That it is that day, so I can echo Rex's the comments about fixing that throttle as well. The second things I'd like to talk about the annual 3-hour challenge is taking place this Saturday, June 19th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Registration for this event is now closed, and we would like to say a thank you to all the many residents who were registered for the event, as well as the local sponsors to make this event such a huge success every year. Also, Your Worship, would like to thank Kirk Uden for his time on council. I don't know if there's anybody on the council now that's stayed around this long for all the many challenges that came across our table over years. I only been at it for the past 4, and he helped me through a few decisions for the background and history of the town. So Kirk, you will be missed immensely around the table, whoever that may be. So there's other than that, Your Worship, that's all I got to add for this evening. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Bursey. Again, I apologize to you and Councillor Hillier for jumping over you there tonight. I had a sign. This is my excuse. I had a sinus thing done at 3 o'clock this afternoon, so maybe they scrambled me up or something.
And your eyes are watering all the time.
There you go. That's it. All right. Start off. Recommendation of Planning and Development Committee Chair, Councillor Rex Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship. I guess I'm the only one who didn't recognize Councillor Uden at his time, but I'd just like to say I liked him too. Your Worship, our first motion comes out of Committee of the Whole meeting this evening. It's be it so resolved that application number 21-138 received on May 4, 2021 for a sunroom extension to the rear of the existing dwelling at 27 Noseworthy's Lane be approved. So moved.
Seconder,
Second that.
Councillor Bent. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And Your Worship, we had enough items on our planning schedule this week that we had to have 2 meetings to get to them all. So you'll have to bear with me with some of these as we come forward. And my computer is not cooperating. All right, here we go. Presentation of recommendations of meetings held on June 1st, 2021 and June 8th, 2021. Recommendation number 1, be it so resolved that Council ratify approval of the land use impact assessment report submitted in relation to phase 2 construction and long-term mitigations of potential geological and hydrological hazards at the community park on Bishops Road, and further that in accordance with sections 5.23, 10.6, and 10.1 or 10.10.1 of the town's development regulations, approval for development of phase 2 of the community park be ratified. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bursey, discussion? I'd just like to say, guys, this is another step forward and let the residents know in our community park. It's going to be a beautiful facility. It's something for all the residents of our town. Many of us don't live close to the ocean and can't enjoy maybe some of the things that comes with the water aspects, whether it be kayaking, canoeing, or just the view and the feel of that fresh air coming off the water. I think it's going to be a beautiful place for residents to go down, sit back, have a picnic, throw around a ball, hopefully do some skating on the oval, splash pad. It's something for all our residents, and I'm delighted that we're just taking another step in getting that park up and ready for today, for people today and future generations, where they can go and relax with their families. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 2, Your Worship, 7-9 Cliffside Avenue. Recommendation, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 4.6 of the town's development regulations, application number 2021-131 received on May 10th, 2021 for a 4-unit row dwelling at 7-9 Cliffside Avenue be refused on the basis that council is of the opinion that the proposed development would be inconsistent with the scale and character of the neighborhood. So moved.
Seconder.
Second.
Councillor Bent. Discussion?
Your Worship, as you're aware, that's a community of single-family dwellings, and this would be a total difference within the neighborhood.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 3, 47 Atkins Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 5.33 of the town's development regulations, application number 21-ACC-072 received on April 22nd, 2021, be approved for an accessory building measuring 9.84 meters by 9.84 meters at 47 Atkins Road, on condition that the dwelling height of the accessory building shall not exceed the height of the dwelling on the property. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bursey. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Your Worship, I have to declare conflict of interest on item number 4. That property is family owned.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Murphy, can you put him in the penalty box for motion? Okay, carry on.
Number 4, 45 Atkins Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 15 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, draft municipal plan amendment number 19/2021, and development regulations amendment number 36/2021 be submitted to the Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs for review and determination of any provincial interests with the proposal. So moved.
Seconder.
Second.
Councillor Uden. Discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, this is a piece of property that's a non-conforming use. It's a construction yard basically in a residential area, and I guess you want to use the word grandfather. It's been there for a long, long time. In order to make some adjustments to that property, the owners asked that the property be rezoned so that you can accommodate that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 5, 2442 Hop Street. Be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 10.7 and 10.22.2 of the town's development regulations, application number COM 21-055 received on April 29th, 2021 for general industrial use contracting yard at 2442 Hop Street, pre-approved. So moved.
Seconder.
Second.
Councillor Tilley. Discussion?
Yes, Your Worship. Glad to see the council is approving this recommendation this evening. As I'm sure that all the council knows that throughout the whole community that our reliance on a residential tax rate is certainly tough. And so, we've said all along the past 4 years that you've been at the helm that, we're open for businesses in this community, and it's great to see this application come to fruition. I support it.
If I could, Your Worship, I just want to speak to it just for a moment. Of course, it's a great addition to have this company come to our town, as Councillor Tilley said, to expand our commercial tax base, which is something that is sorely needed for tax-weary residents, of course. I do have a concern, though, and that concern is with the screening of gravel on the site, and the possibility for that blowing around and so forth. I raised this issue earlier, and I'm raising it again now. One of the things, and I'm just so upfront, I am going to support this, but I hope that the town and the staff will be able to work with this company to mitigate any issues that may arise from the residents, particularly those of Delta Place and Henry Place, that live in relative close proximity to it. That as this business expands and moves forward, that we have an open dialogue between the business and the residents there, so that any issues that do come up are addressed quickly and hopefully to the satisfaction of all. I note that the company, from its meeting with the committee, noted that if there were some concerns of anything blowing around in dry conditions or extremely windy conditions, that they would water down any aggregate that would be stored at the site, which is good. And also there will be a perimeter fence put up to sort of deflect some of the noise and some of the activity there. But in the long term, I note that they have told us that their hope is to acquire a quarry, and if they do so, then any aggregate screening and so forth would be done at the quarry and not at this site. That in the short term, they're using it to store their equipment, vehicles, some heavy vehicles for construction work that they do, and so forth. And I believe, and Councillor Hillier can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the site that was formerly the proposed drill mud processing for this area. And of course, that is something that residents in the area had some serious concerns about. So quite frankly, a construction yard to me is an upgrade from those concerns that the residents did have, and the use of this for storage of vehicles and equipment, and possibly down the road, the building of an office and a garage for doing some repairs would be great. And I understand that there's going to be somewhere in the range of, and maybe Councillor Hillier can correct me, somewhere around 30 employees at the site, and then with the expansion, possibly even 15 to 20 more. So to be honest with you, this is the kind of business we want here, but we want to make sure that we are working with the neighbors in the area too, so that there's no, or at least limiting any issues. It's an industrial park, so there's going to be some noise, there's going to be some sound, and there's going to be things going on like there is now. But we just want to mitigate any of those concerns from the nearby residents. And there's a couple streets there that I mentioned earlier. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Bent. Just before I turn it over to Councillor Hillier, I guess I'll just say that, this is one of the biggest construction companies in Atlantic Canada, and someone corrected me earlier and said, no, it's the biggest. So, I mean, in times of economic uncertainty like this province is in right now, any time that we can get companies like that to come to Conception Bay South, then I think we got to do everything in our power to try to make them fit in. And I think we got lots of room, and I'm delighted that it seems like Council is going to support this one. So, Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship. This is, as you say, this is not some fly-by-night operation that's going to come in and take off again very quickly and cause us nothing but grief. And as Councillor Bent knows, we visited their site in Nova Scotia as a result of another file, and it totally immaculate was the way that they had everything kept and stored and maintained and so on their main site in Nova Scotia, and I would expect nothing different here.
Okay, thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 6, 7, Conception Bay Highway. be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 25 and 35-5 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, the town initiate public and stakeholder consultation with respect to a proposed amendment to the town's development regulations to allow catering uses, including serving of alcohol, to occur on the balcony and patio of the Magnus River Hibernia Interpretation Center. Be it so resolved that in consideration of the town's, and further, be it so resolved that in consideration of the town's operating grant to the Magnus River Natural Heritage Society, fees and deposits associated with the proposed development regulations amendment be waived. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor
Second.
Tilly. Discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, this is a very specific situation related to the Magnus River site. Magnus River, the Hibernia Center, the caterers at the Hibernia Center have a liquor license to serve alcohol inside, but that doesn't allow them to serve it on the balcony. And for the Magnus River Natural Heritage Society themselves, who want to have functions adjacent to their property, they're not allowed to serve alcohol outside either. So it's very specific. We're not opening this up to a free for all. This is for very, very specific, special events, and certainly be monitored as such.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Find my spot there, sir. I've got something going on here with my computer tonight.
We're at number 7, Councillor Hillier. We
Yes,
need to
we
get
are.
back up and running.
Number 7, 141A Greeleytown Road. Recommendation, be it so resolved that the town purchase approximately 45 square meters of land at 145A Greeleytown Road for $1 and forgiveness of any outstanding taxes on the property. So moved.
Councillor Hillier, was that 141A? Greeleytown Road?
141A, yes.
Okay, thank you. Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Tilly. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 8, 101 Peachtown Road. Recommendation, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 15D of the Town of Conception Bay South fence regulations, application number 21F041 submitted on May 3rd, 2021 be partially approved to allow a fence along the northern side boundary forward of the building line to a maximum height of 1.2 meters. And further, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 15D of the Town of Conception Bay South fence regulations, application number 21F-041 submitted on May 3rd, 2021 be partially refused to prohibit a front yard fence along the western property boundary abutting the road reservation for Peachtown Road. So moved.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
Councillor Uden. Discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, basically the homeowner here asked for a fence along the north side and also along the front of the property. We're basically saying that we approve the fence along the north side of the boundary, but we will not approve the fence along the front parallel to Peachtown Road.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 9, 73 Cherry Lane. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 10.10.3 of the town's development regulations, application number 2021-123 received on May 5th, 2021 be refused as the property does not meet the minimum frontage requirement for development of a single dwelling within the residential low density zone. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Bercy. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 10, 32-40 Emma's Place. Be it so resolved that application number 2021-136 received on May 5th, 2021 be approved to allow subdivision of property at 32 to 40 Emma's Place to accommodate development of a new residential lot and single dwelling on condition that the proposed private on-site well and septic system is approved by Service NL. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Bercy. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 11, 42 to 46 Emma's Place. Be it so resolved that application number 2021-155 received on May 5th, 2021 be approved to allow development of a single dwelling at 42 to 48 Emma's Place on condition the boundary of the property is adjusted to provide the minimum required frontage on Emma's Place and that proposed private on-site well and septic system is approved by Service NL. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Butler. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 12, 16 Reginald's Place. Recommendation, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 5.32 of the town's development regulation, application number 21 ACC 071 received on April 22nd, 2021, be approved for construction of a 9.84 meter by 9.84 meter accessory building. That's a residential garage at 16 Reginald's Place on condition that the existing garage be removed from the property. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Tilly. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 13, 20 Allison Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 3.12 of the town's development regulations, application number 2021-085 received on April 15, 2021 is approved with a variance to reduce the minimum rear yard requirement to 11.7 meters at 20 Allison Road. And be it so resolved that the further encroachment of the existing dwelling at 20 Allison Road into the minimum rear yard requirement by 0.45 meter beyond the approved variance be tolerated by the town. So moved.
Seconder. Have a seconder. Councillor
I'll
Butler.
second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 14, 30 Comerford Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 13 of the Conception Bay South Fence Regulations, application number 21-F-045, received on April 30th, 2021, be refused as the proposed fence along the flanking street exceeds the maximum permitted height of 1.45 meters. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Bent. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 15, 24 Emerald Creek Drive. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 10.7 and 10.11.2 of the town's development regulations, application number 21-111 received on April 28, 2021 for a hobby farm as an accessory use to the residential property at 24 Emerald Creek Drive be refused in consideration that the town is of the opinion that keeping of a horse, goats, pigs, etc. at the property may create a nuisance on the adjacent properties that are out of character with the residential neighborhood. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Tilly. Discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, just want to make a couple of comments on that. While I applaud residents for wanting to have a hobby farm on their property, it has to be in the right place. And I just don't think that a subdivision right now is the proper place for this type of hobby farm. So I'll be supporting the application, supporting the recommendation for refusal.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 17, be it so resolved that in accordance with section 3.12 of the town's development regulations, the variance request received on February 16, 2021 in relation to application number 2020-141 be approved to reduce the minimum lot size at 1643 Conception Bay Highway by 45 square meters. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Bercy. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
You missed one,
You
Councillor.
skipped number 16.
All right.
Rex.
Let's try it again. Number 16, 4 Fowlers Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 5.3.1 of the town's development regulations, application number 21-ACC-117 received on June 2nd, 2021, be refused in consideration that the accessory building under construction does not comply with the minimum separation from the dwelling on the property. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
for Deputy Mayor Murphy, discussion?
I'd just
All
like to
those in-
speak, I'd like to speak to this one if I could, Your Worship. This accessory building next to the gentleman's house on his property at 4 Fowlers Road, from my understanding, is somewhere in the 3 feet or so distance away, 3 to 4 feet distance away from his house. And my understanding of the requirements is that I believe it's around 9 feet or so. And I say feet because I think the town deals in meters for everything. I still deal with feet when it comes to the shorter things like this. I don't know how tall I am in meters, but I know how tall I am in feet. But anyway, and I understand that a variance even would be 10%. So he could probably get it down to around 8 feet. So we're talking about 4.5 feet distance between what would make this comply and what it doesn't comply. I'm going to vote against this only, but for the reason that I think that the town and the resident can work something out here and ensure that some sort of compliance or variance can be put in place to help him with this. Thank you, Your Worship.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Okay,
And finally, Your Worship,
Motion carried.
number 18. The blanket recommendation. Be it so resolved that the decisions or recommendations made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting of June 1st and June 8th, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Butler, discussion? I just want to say, you can tell tonight by the length of the committee of this, the planning, that, and tell residents out there and others who are trying to do things in the town, staff are really pushing it the limit to try to get things out the door. But it's common this time of the year that we have a big influx of work to do. And like Councillor Hillier referenced earlier, we had 2 planning committees. They've had 2 planning committees just to try to get through some of this. And there's a whole host of other things that hasn't come before the public meetings yet. So bear with us and bear with staff. They're doing their best to get things out the door as fast as they possibly can.
Your Worship, if I may, I've seen enough of Councillor Tilley and Councillor Hillier. They're nice guys, but the 6-hour planning meetings is getting a bit much. So I'm glad for a little break from the boys, and hopefully we'll get back and we can work through some of those issues.
I hear you.
Love you too.
2 good guys to work with, Your Worship. 2 good guys to work with.
6 hours. You must have went to the short one, Councillor. You.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Next,
Your Worship.
we have, I believe I saw you referred to as Deputy Mayor earlier this week, somewhere along the way. I wonder if Deputy Mayor Murphy never kicked up. See, in some news I was reading somewhere along the way.
Some items that he backs away from, Your Worship.
Maybe that's a dream of his. You never know. Speak for yourself, Councillor Hillier. Thank you very much.
Recommendation of the Engineering and Public Works Committee Chair, Councillor Gerard Tilley.
Thank you, Worship. The following is a presentation of our recommendations from our meeting held on May 11, 2021. And the first one is a ratification of purchase order number 2021-0207. And that's unit 269. That's one of our heavy equipment trucks. This ratification is a typical operation fleet required repair. Dump truck is 10 years old. And just to put it in a bit of perspective, some of these dump trucks, they actually get turned on December 1st when we start a 24-hour shift, and they're running all winter. And then when the winter shift is over, I believe in April, those trucks are still running 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. So those trucks take a beating. So this is money is well spent to keep these on the road. So the recommendation is, be it so resolved that approval be given to Harvey and Company Limited to ratify purchase order number 2021-0207 in the amount of $28,888.62 plus HST. Funds to be taken from the account so noted. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Bursey, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Worship.
Councillor Tilly, just to note the meeting held on June 8th is supposed to be. I know it's just an error there, but
So you're right.
yeah.
Gail, if we can make that change.
Yeah, we'll ask the clerk to straighten that up for us.
Thanks for the pickup, Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Councillor Butler.
Number 2, approval to tender Community Park Phase 2. Folks, just as the mayor alluded to a few minutes before, this community park is something that's is definitely going to be well received by all residents of the community, and we certainly look forward to this phase, which is the actual startup work of our skating rink / ice pad, or skating rink / splash pad. So the recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to tender the Community Park Phase 2 project. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Butler, discussion?
If I could, Your Worship, just a couple of things. When I think about this community park, I have 2 regrets. And one is, of course, that unfortunately, due to the construction work that has to occur this summer, we can't open the park this summer, and we'll all have to wait till it's finished up because we can't have people in the construction zone. And my second regret is that I'm not a kid, and I can't have a go at that splash pad and that skating rink from the eyes of a 8 or 9 or 10-year-old, because I think it's going to be a fantastic place, a joyful place for young people in this town and for families and young families to come and enjoy summer and winter. So I'm really pleased that we're getting on with phase 2. It's unfortunate that COVID has dampened and slowed down the work up there, but when this thing gets going, I'm really looking forward to seeing what goes on down there, because I know it's going to be a great place. Thank you, Your Worship.
Councillor Bent, I'll be standing underneath the water bucket. I'll challenge you.
All right, then, you're on.
Anybody else? Is it? Yeah, and I'll just echo what I said earlier. I mean, it's a great place for our families from all over Conception Bay South. We live so close to the water. We're stretched out along the Conception Bay, and this is a way for all of us to get a little bit closer to the water for those of us that don't live there. So a good move, and looking forward to its completion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And Your Worship, the last one is the blanket recommendation. But before I read that, I just want to touch on a few items that we discussed at that meeting. Of course, everyone's aware our work is well underway for our library. It's currently in the public tender phase, and we expect that tender to close at the end of the month. And of course, construction updates will be available once tenders close and that tender is awarded. Friendly Matters Well to residents, our waste collection for July, the first holiday, is on a Thursday, and that will impact the regular garbage collection. So we kindly ask everyone to have a look at the town's website, and that actual notification is on the waste collection site. So we ask you to please check your calendars for the latest schedules. As well, we have continuing road construction on the go. We ask folks to be patient on following streets: Boggins Place, Boggins Meadow, Greeleytown Road, and Middlewhite Road. So construction is further ahead in some spots more than the others. So stay tuned to our website for continued updates. So the recommendation is, be it so resolved that the recommendations, decisions made at the Engineering and Public Works Committee meeting of June 8, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Bent. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Tully. Next, we have recommendations of the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee. Chair, Councillor Junior Bursey.
You never forgot me this time.
No, I remembered you this time.
Boss, I got to apologize starting off because I do have a cough. Every time that I put the mask on for any length of time, I develop a cough for some reason. I don't know why, but I apologize for that piece. Just I got the 4 or 5 to bring forward tonight, so I'll start with the first one. From the committee of the whole meeting this evening, approval to award tender 20113 Lab 3 project monument. Be it so resolved that approval be given to award tender 20113 Lab 3 monument project to Eric Taylor Limited at a cost of 133.
Excuse me, Councillor Bercy.
Yep.
Yes, I have
Just
to
before you
declare
go any
conflict.
further.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I have to declare conflict, Your Worship. Family business.
Okay. Apologize. All right.
No, I missed it. Well, Deputy Mayor missed it. Just I guess when you got into it, and mentioned
Yeah,
the name. He
well,
referenced.
Will I
So
start
carry
over
on.
again?
No, just carry on. Yeah, start over, please.
Okay. From the committee of the whole meeting this evening, approval to award tender 20113 Lab 3 monument project recommendation. Be it so resolved that approval be given to award tender 20113 Lab 3 monument project to Eric Taylor Limited at a cost of $133,277.31 plus HST. Funds are available under the COVID-19 stimulus program fund on a 90-10 provincial town cost share basis, with total cost to the town of $42,842. Monies in trust of open space development will be used for this purchase.
Seconder. Councillor Butler, discussion.
Yes, Your Worship. Your Worship, the Light Armored Vehicle Lab 3 is monument program recognizes the services and sacrifices of all Canadian armed forces in Afghanistan by providing a full-size demilitarized replica Lab 3. The monument will be the last Lab 3 to be dedicated in Canada and the only one of its kind in Newfoundland and Labrador. This monument will serve as a fitting tribute to many veterans of Afghanistan war from Conception Bay South and 158 Canadians who paid the ultimate sacrifice for many from Newfoundland and Labrador. And you would like to have that. I have a brother actually that had served 2 tours over in Afghanistan, and the last time that he came home, there was eight people from his platoon that didn't make it back. So there's a great tribute for sure.
Wow. Yeah, and I also want to acknowledge there's a philanthropist in our town who was kind enough to look after the cost of shipping and purchase that, who wants to remain nameless, and I understand that. But if somewhere down life's road, I'm hoping that they will be involved in some kind of the opening ceremony and take get some recognition for what they've done, because so far they didn't want any recognition, and it's certainly deserving, and certainly I want to thank them on behalf of people like Junior's brother, what he's witnessed, but also, of course, the residents of the town of Conception Bay South. Thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And second one, Your Worship, is the Recreation Complex annual pool shutdown. Be it so resolved that approval will be given to close the Recreation Complex for annual maintenance for a period of from August 1st until September 6th.
Seconder. Councillor Bent. Discussion.
Yes, Your Worship. As you are aware, last year we had to close the pool because of a leak in the main expansion joint in the pool bottom. Besides our regular maintenance this year, is our plan to do the remaining 2 expansion joints to prevent further leaks in these areas, Your Worship.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Next one, Your Worship, is approval to award the tender 21-05 fully inclusive service agreement on the refrigeration system for for Exception Bay South Arena and the Robert French Memorial Stadium for 5 years.
Seconder, Councillor Bent, discussion.
Uh,
All those in
This one
favor?
there, I
We
missed
gotta
one there.
read that recommendation
Yeah, I
first.
know. My apologies.
Oh, sorry. Carry on.
Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to award tender 2105 for the fully inclusive service agreement on the refrigeration system for the Conception Bay South Arena and the Robert French Memorial Stadium for 5 years to Chimo registration for a total price of $99,671 plus HST. Monies for this expense have been budgeted in the account 01604 107015 and 01609 107015.
Seconder, Councillor Bent, you're going to carry on with the seconding? Thank you,
I'll
sir.
second that, your worship. Sure.
Again, discussion.
Yes, your worship. This is a continuation of our maintenance plan program for both the RFM Stadium and the arena.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And the next one, your worship, is approval to award tender 21-06 supply and delivery of playground equipment. Be it so resolved that approval be given to award tender 2106 as supply and delivery of playground equipment to Coastline Specialties Limited at a cost of $89,965 plus HST. Monies are in the trust in open space development and will be used ever this purchase.
Seconder, Councillor Butler, discussion.
The issue, worship, this purchase will provide us with various pieces of playground equipment to help us assist with our ongoing maintenance and upgrades.
Also, if I could, your worship, over the past while, we've heard from lots of people about their community playgrounds and so forth, and we have a lot of them here in Conception Bay South, asking for upgrades and so forth. And the equipment, a variety of equipment that's going to be purchased through this program that Councillor Bercy outlined is going to help with upgrades to a number of them. Some of them small upgrades and changes to older equipment, and some of them a little more significant. But it's we're working on it and trying to improve as many of them as we can as soon as we can. So hopefully we'll be in a playground near you soon with some of these upgrades. Thank you, Your Worship.
All those in favor?
All right.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Number 4, your worship, approval of award limited call for bids roof upgrades to the Robert French Memorial Stadium. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to award limited calls for bids for the roof upgrades for the Robert French Memorial Stadium to Crane Services Limited at a cost of $99,000 plus HST. Funds are available in the Recreation and Community Development project account. So noted.
Seconder. Councillor Butler, discussion.
Yes, your worship. These upgrades are the continuation of the retrofit job at the Robert French Memorial Stadium that took place last summer, and as noted, monies are funded under the community development project that the town has been granted.
All those in favor? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And your worship, the final recommendation for this evening is be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Recreation and Leisure Service meeting on June 7th, 2021 be accepted and presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Ben, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Councillor Bercy. Next, we have recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee. Chair, Deputy Mayor Richard Murphy.
Excuse me. Thank you very much, Your Worship. The first two recommendations coming out of Committee of the Whole meeting number 10 earlier today. Code of Conduct for Members of Council policy. Be it so resolved that approval be given to adopt the Code of Conduct for Members of Council policy as presented. So move.
Seconder. Councillor Bursey, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those
I'm
opposed?
sorry, I missed the discussion call on that one quickly, Your Worship. I would assume that this code of conduct will go to our website for all to see and be made public. I think it's important that this code that outlines, I guess how counselors conduct themselves, whether it's with residents or internally and so forth, is important for everyone to be able to see and to expect from their counselors going forward. It's an important document, I think, and it's a good upgrade to our policies.
Just to mention, Councillor Bent, that all policies and regulations are on the website and have been for years, and this is no different.
That's good. And of course, for people hearing about this for the first time tonight, if they want to see it, it'll be up probably sometime this week for sure, I would expect.
For sure.
The second one is
One second
another
now.
policy.
Excuse me, Deputy Mayor,
I'm
just vote
sorry.
on this first. All those in
sorry.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. All right, sir, carry on.
Okay, thank you. The second one is the respectful workplace policy. Be it so resolved that approval be given to adopt the respectful workplace policy as presented. So move.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Bent, discussion. All those
Yes,
in
Your
favor?
Worship, just to note as well that this policy is required by legislation. So that one, of course, will be on the website as well.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And the first one, again, I'm sorry, Your Worship, I have to declare conflict of interest on this because it's a family matter again. I'll ask Councillor Bent to bring forward this recommendation.
Okay, can someone put them in the penalty box for, okay, Councillor Bent?
So we are at number 1 here for the recommendations of financial and administrative services. Accounts payable check register. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $177,096.67. So moved.
Seconder,
Second it.
Second.
Councillor Bursey, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, we can bring back Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Okay, Your
Hey,
Worship,
Deputy, number
yeah, I'm
2.
here. Okay, number 2, ratification of manual checks previously released. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify manual checks previously released totaling $766,831.68. So moved.
Seconder,
Second it.
Councillor Bursey, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Next one is ratification of direct payments previously released. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify direct payments previously released totaling $323,955. So moved.
Seconder? Second. Councillor Tilley, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Next one is capital invoices. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $614,187.85 as per the table listed below. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hillier, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Tax and other receivables adjustments. Be it so resolved that approval be given to adjust tax and other receivables accounts as follows. So move.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Hilliard, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
2021 tax recovery plan. Be it so resolved that approval be given for the 2021 tax recovery plan as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
I'll second it.
Second.
Councillor Bercy, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Finally, Your Worship, be it so resolved that recommendations and decisions made at the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting of June the 8th, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
Second it.
Councillor Bercy, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Murphy. Next, we have recommendations of the Economic Development and Tourism Committee. Councillor Davis is not with us tonight. I believe Councillor Butler is taking the lead on that tonight. Thank you,
That's
Councillor Butler.
correct, Your Worship. Thank you. We just have a blanket recommendation, but as usual, coming out of economic development, there's always lots of good news. So myself and Councillor Bent are going to share it as it is so much.
Okay.
First off, a couple of things I'd like to let residents know. The last section of the T railway repairs are now completed, such that the section of trail is now safe for pedestrian and cycling access. This section suffered significant undermining as a result of January 2020 storm event, posing an immediate risk for collapse of the T railway. The section is now being realigned such that the walking surface has been moved inland by approximately 3.5 meters from its previous location and away from the undermined embankments. Proper signage has been put in place to warn users of the potential dangers and risks associated with walking outside of the designated walking area. Please continue to use caution in this area and along all areas of our T railway. The safety of our residents continues to be our top priority. I also wanted to mention that the department has also developed community tourism spotlight series. It's 3 different series, 30-minute webinars that are happening during June. First one was on June 10th, which I actually watched online live. And our staff, Colin and Brandon, did an amazing job. It was well worth the watch. 30 minutes of everything you want to see in CBS. Great for residents, great for visitors. I recommend to town staff, council, residents, anyone who would like to watch that one. They're all going to be available on the YouTube channel for on-demand viewing. And there will be 2 more. One is this June 17th, an outdoor adventures, and one June 17th is indoor attractions hosted by external partners and stakeholders. And the third one is outdoor adventures with partners under the town's umbrella, and that's June 24th. Our T Railway counts along the T Railway have reached 136,893 since November 21st to the end of May. That's amazing. Please remember to be considerate of your fellow trail users and practice trail etiquette. Keep your pets on a leash, stop and scoop, keep to the right, and ring the bell on your bike when approaching a walker from behind your bike. Community-wide tree planting initiatives. In the coming weeks, the town will launch an online tree giveaway to residents and organizations. We are hoping to have 170 trees available through a generous grant from TD Green Spaces and the Arbor Day Foundation. Anyone interested in receiving a tree will be requested to apply online for a voucher to pick up their tree at one of our 3 local business partners. Keep an eye on our social media and Shoreline newspaper for more details in the coming weeks. This is another initiative supporting the town's commitment to climate change adaptation. Music NL Summer Trail Mix. The town is proud to support an initiative by Music NL this summer called Summer Trail Mix. We encourage trail users to scan QR codes you see on signage along our trails to access a playlist of local artists, including 4 from Conception Bay South. And they would be Justin Fancy, Darcy Scott, Mallory Johnson, and Quote the Raven. And my last little note before I pass it on to Councillor Bent, thanks to the Lions Club for providing the community garden with a generous donation to build an accessible ramp to the outdoor classroom at the Gateway Garden. Your continued dedication to the success of our community is to be admired. And take it away, Councillor Bent.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. A tag team committee, I guess. You were on a roll. You should have kept going. Just the first note is congratulations to Ocean Quest Adventures here in CBS, who are recipients of the CBDC Tourism Business Award of Excellence presented by Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador. Well-deserving recipient and a great business here in Conception Bay South. Conception Bay Area Chamber of Commerce hosted their annual general meeting on May 26th. I'd like to congratulate the incoming executive, Tom Williamson, Andrea Goss, and Jerry Young. The longtime chair, Margot Susi, is now sitting as past chair. I would like to acknowledge Margot's dedication over the past number of years and thank her for her role in rebuilding the chamber to the vibrant, active organization that is so important to our investment attraction initiative. So thank you to Margot. She's done a great job in propping up that chamber and making it what it is today. The Conservation Corps of Newfoundland and Labrador and the CBS Parks Commission have partnered.
Your Worship, I'm gonna step out. My daughter is involved in the discussion on that during committee, so I'm going to declare a conflict and step out. All right.
Thank you, Councillor Uden.
Yes, so the Conservation Corps of Newfoundland and Labrador and the CBS Parks Commission have partnered together to hire 6 individuals from the town to work as this year's green team. They'll work together to beautify our town on legacy projects at the Manuels River, Chamberlain's Park with the Keep organization, and the community gardens in July and August. And of course, this is an annual hiring of students, and the green team has done some great work helping spruce up parts of the town and cleanups and so forth. And you don't notice them coming and going so much, but the efforts that they put in make sure that our town looks good for visitors and for residents to enjoy. Thank you on that one. And I think Kirk is going to come back now.
For the motion?
There's no motion.
No, I have to read the blanket recommendation. That's
Blanket
all.
recommendation, sorry.
I think he had to leave for the green team.
Yeah, there he is.
There he is.
Are you back,
Yeah, Your
Councillor
Worship,
Uden?
I've got to declare in minutes.
you froze.
So I'll,
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, for the
Okay.
recommendation, he should be out of the meeting.
Oh,
too, I guess.
okay, yes, because that might be part of it.
That was
certainly,
part of the
yes.
recommendation.
Certainly,
so
yeah,
Can we
okay.
remove him, please, from the meeting? Okay, thank you.
All
Yeah,
right.
carry on.
So Youth
Okay.
Ventures, once again, the town is thrilled to support the Youth Ventures program by waiving application and permit fees and assisting them through learning about their entrepreneurial process. The program is targeted to young participants between the ages of 12 and 29 to start up and run their own summer business between June and September in conjunction with the CBDC. And just finally, Your Worship, I want to acknowledge the Downtown CBS, formerly known as the Business Improvement Association, has done great work in that area from Manuel's Bridge to just past the Solbys there in Long Pond. That there's been a slight change in their executive for the coming year. Back again as chair is Christine Hand. This year, vice chair will be Darren Steves, and the secretary treasurer, Keith Bailey of Shoppers Drug Mart. So great to have them at the helm of this important organization that helps promote the business area in that part of Conception Bay South. Thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, so Councillor Butler, are you going to do the recommendation?
Yeah, Councillor Uden is left, is he? He's not coming back?
No, we'll keep him out till after the recommendation.
Yes,
because
that's
it's part
true.
of-
We said that already, didn't we? It's been a long night. Presentation of recommendations of meeting held on June 8th. Economic Development Tourism Committee meeting report. Blanket recommendation. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of June 8th, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Bercy, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, before I go down to items number 9 and 10, I'm going to turn the chair over to Deputy Mayor Murphy. He's going to take us through the last 2 items. And I know Councillor Hillier has an announcement to make. So on that, good night, folks, and we'll see you in the coming days. Talk soon.
Good night.
Good night.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just finished number 9, didn't we? Yes.
Yeah,
So is
we're
there-
done. We're done. There's only number 10 left.
Okay, the other committee reports, I don't think there are any. But before we go into adjournment, Councillor Hillier has to bring forward a notification of a change in the scheduled regular meeting. So I'll turn it over to you, Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship. I'd like to notify the public that we are changing meeting schedule for the summer to accommodate a special meeting on June 29th. The remainder of the summer schedule will not be changed. The only agenda item will be the OCI project at the June 29th meeting. Your Worship, we've 10 months ago, we knew that at some point in time, we're going to have to make a decision on the OCI project. And since that time, we've been gathering information to inform our decision making. We feel that by come June 29th, we will be in a position to make that decision. And that's the reason for the change in meeting. Also, we're on a summer schedule. So our next regular meeting is not until the middle of July, another month away. And we know how much time our staff has spent on this project. And at this point in time, we feel it's time to make that decision and move on.
Okay, sir, thank you very much. And I agree that, yeah, it's been a long time coming, and we look forward to gathering up all the rest of the information now and make a decision as soon as we possibly can. So thank you very much, Councillor Hillier. And if there are no other comments or business, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Uden. I'm forgetting you already, Kirk Boyd, and I'm sorry.
That's-
I never had a
that's
chance
good.
to say a thank you because you announced it after I did my go around. So congratulations. Thank you very much. It's been certainly a pleasure, and we won't, we'll see each other lots of times, I'm sure. So thank you again. With that in mind, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, folks.
Take
and
care.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Hey, folks.
See you.